Today we got some very exciting Gotham Knights news, which is that there is now 4-player functionality in a standalone mode of Gotham Knights. Now, I want to be very, very clear about what this is. I don't want people to take this out of context. So if you're misinterpreting what I'm saying, don't jump out of your seat just yet. This is not 4 players in the main game. This is a standalone mode. It's something that you'll probably select as another part of the game from the main menu to jump into. It's essentially a raid, and what you're going to do is you're going to jump in with 3 of your friends. You can all play as the different Bat family members, and it sounds like the setup is you are in a building with the Bat family. You're trying to clear the 30 floors of said building, and we don't really know much else about it. We don't know if there's a boss battle at the end of it. I'm sure there will be something of the sort, but it sounds really fun. Again, in the base game, you can play it solo, you can play with one other friend, so you can't explore Gotham with all 4 Bat family members, you can't play through the story with all 4 Bat family members. It's either you or you and a friend in that base game, and this is a mode that will not even be dropping at launch. It will be about a month later. Gotham Knights is coming out the 21st of this month, October, and it will be next month, November 29th, that we will get this 4-player mode of the game. Now, I know that there's some people who will probably be disappointed that this isn't a feature that's being carried over to the rest of the game. I've heard it kind of through Twitter and YouTube comments for the entire run of this game's marketing, which is just add 4-player functionality to the whole game. I want to play through the story with all my friends. And the sad truth about it is they just can't. The game is not designed for that. It's not functional if you add 2 more players into it. And so I understand why they can't do that. The way that the story in the open world has been built is for single-player experience and a 2-player experience. And I feel that the developers have actually been very clear about this. They've stated that if you make a game that's designed for 4 people to play through, the level design is different, the overall gameplay loop and functionality is very different than building something that is essentially for single players, which is what Gotham Knights does appear to be based around. In many ways, Gotham Knights does try to retain that single-player experience in the sense that even if you have a friend in there with you, like let's say you're playing as Red Hood and your friend is playing as Robin, Robin will not be present in the cinematics if he has joined your server and you're playing the game multiplayer and you're going through the story missions together. You will be able to engage in all the gameplay together, but again, in those cutscenes, you will be the only character there because it's a story that is designed for one member of the Bat family to engage in at a time, but multiplayer functionality is there as well, and apparently it's very well implemented according to the people who tried it out for the previews. It sounds like it's very fun. The combat includes new boosts and abilities, and it's really fun to engage in, you know, when you're taking out a room with a friend as opposed to just doing it by yourself. But even if you don't have a friend there, you're not going to have an AI-controlled Robin jump in with you if you're playing as Red Hood. If you're playing the game solo, your character will be the only character playing through these missions. You can't summon Batgirl to hop into combat with you. This is, again, something the developers have been pretty clear on, and I think that that's a great way to integrate both a very single-player experience and also a dual play 2-player experience as well. If I want to go through this story just by myself, I can do that. If I want to chat with a friend through the story, I can do that as well. And now I feel that they've done the best that they can with that 4-player support. They've designed a very specific mode of the game that you can play through with your friends in 4-player. And it will be interesting to see the similarities between that and Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League, which is a full game coming from Rocksteady next year. It's the follow-up to the Arkham games, and in that game, it's a game that you can also play single-player if you want, but it is 4-player, and so it will be interesting to see how they manage those design challenges, and if it feels like a very cohesive single-player experience if you're not playing with friends. I think the difference there is that even if you don't have any friends playing with you, you will have AI-controlled Suicide Squad members joining you in each mission, whereas in Gotham Knights, if you're playing by yourself, you're playing the game solo, and so those missions do need to be designed for you, a lone character, to navigate the world, whereas Suicide Squad, I think, is going to go in a different direction, where, again, even if your friends aren't playing it with you, you are going to have to figure out puzzles that involve all 4 of the Suicide Squad members. And so, again, it'll just be interesting to see how these different studios tackle multiplayer. This isn't really something we've seen in the Arkham games. The one exception was the multiplayer in Arkham Origins, and that wasn't even really doing what either of these games are doing in terms of multiplayer. That was a specific mode that was more of a third-person shooter experience. This is more about bringing another hero into the campaign, and that's just something very different, and I'm excited to see how both of these studios manage it, because it seems that they're going about it in very different ways. I'm a huge fan of the Arkham games, and I'm glad that both of these studios is trying to retain that single-player experience, because there's something very special about that, but I'm also excited to have that replayability factor as playing through the game with different friends is also going to lead to a different experience every time. But ultimately now I'm really excited for this 4-player mode, and I'm glad that we have a month to kind of play Gotham Knights, get good at it, get used to our characters and which character we like, and then we'll get to hop into the 4-player mode with our friends, and we'll get to take on bigger threats together once we're all, over that initial learning curve of the new combat system and traversal systems. It's going to be a blast. I can't wait to play through it. Let me know in the comments below what you think about the 4-player co-op mode that has been added to Gotham Knights, and just overall what you think about the ability to play this game single player or with a friend. And again, please be sure to like and subscribe if you enjoyed the video. I will be covering Gotham Knights all the way up through launch and post-launch, so please be sure to check out that content as well. We will see you guys in the next one.